everybody. Welcome to the long story short. This time the topic is Metaverse. Okay, everybody is talking Metaverse, and nobody really understands the definition. so today we have two guests and also myself. We will discuss everything regarding the Metaverse and try to figure out what that is and what that can do for crypto world and also for the regular IT industries and the business worlds. So let me start with Marsha. Can you do a quick introduction yourself?
Yeah, so our company is called Digifund, and I'm the CMO of Digifund. So we are currently the largest Metaverse design and production team in Asia, and we have including 100 designers right now, and we focus on wearables and scenario-based activities in the Metaverse platform. Now we're based on Decentraland and CryptoVoxel, but we're probably going to venture into other metaverses in the future. And we also work with brands on custom virtual wearables, NFTs. And this year we have collaborations with a fashion e-commerce brand, Cider, and other global designers such as Kingwen on like co-branded products. Yeah. So we make fashion in the metaverse.
Yeah, it's really good. Your company is definitely the kind of company we like to talk to. It's a future. It's a future. You guys basically will design everything from the real world to the virtual world. We need even more stuff than the real world in the virtual world. Yeah, Marvin, you're next.
Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you, Marsha. Nice to meet you, Yifan. I'm Marvin. I represent Oasis Protocol Foundation. We are a privacy-enabled Layer 1 blockchain protocol. We have a 235 million ecosystem fund, and we are here to promote leading applications to launch on our network, including Metaverse dApps. And I'm here looking forward to be talking to you about the Metaverse and what that entails.
Okay. My name is Yifan He. I'm the CEO and the founder of Ready Technology. We are one of the founding members of the blockchain-based service network. We basically in charge of all the R&Ds and this kind of panels. So I think the combination here, the three of us is really, really good. It's Marvin from the public chain, layer 1 ecosystem, and BSN is an environment, but what we focus on is called non-crypto. We also will promote public chains outside China, but it's non-crypto. So we can discuss this. And Marsha, you guys focus on actually creating things for the for the metaverse on all those public chains. Even for example, eventually, if you guys get into China, you will mint actually on the permissioned versions. So we can actually discuss this. Okay, first, I think most people in the world don't have a clear definition of metaverse. So let's go with each of us. What's the definition for you, for your business, and for you? Let's go from here. Marvin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So the metaverse, the actual word, has been around for a few decades, actually. And it basically, to me, at least, it means a parallel world that's all encompassing. It's fully digital. I think it's recently been brought to the fore a bit more because of the emergence of blockchain technology. But essentially, metaverses have been around for many years. Games that we used to play on the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, exactly. These are essentially metaverses. But now there's this added technology, the blockchain technology, that allows for digital ownership, that brings this metaverse topic back to the fore and enables much more opportunities and new creative ways to create metaverses and also partake in them.
Okay, thank you, Marvin. It's it's true. Actually, when I'm much older than you guys. Okay, when I was in the 90s, the metaverse is called MUD. Have you guys heard of that? It's basically an online game purely in text. You basically, I kill a rabbit. Then it's like a DOS interface. That's actually what I consider the first metaverse. So, Masha, you're next.
So I think because we're doing more events and like we're actually producing things in the metaverse. So for us, it is like a 3D version of the internet. So it generally refers to online spaces that allows people to go in and interact with each other in a more immersive way than a traditional website. And for example, you could have an avatar representing yourself and you can walk around and interact with other people's avatar. And you can also attend all kinds of events, which is mostly based on real life events. For example, last week, there was the first NFT movie festivals that brings out a silver screen to the Central Land, or they had like annual art week every year implementing real arts into the space. So it's more like bringing the real life events to a digital space. So it's more 3D, and we can like have people interact with each other like more without like a geography boundaries, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the digital ownership aspect really, amplifies the metaverse idea, the idea of a metaverse. Okay. You can now create economies within the metaverse that weren't previously possible because, like we just discussed, when we used to play games that were technically also metaverse with 3D avatars. We had that on the Wii U, for example, where we played sports games. We could customize them. But all this, I think, didn't mean much because once you throw your Wii U away or your console, your game status is lost.
Yes.
Now we have something called the blockchain, right? Where it's all stored on decentralized servers, so to speak. It's not just on a centralized system. And what you attain in the metaverse is really unique. And I guess we can seg into NFTs in a bit, but this is really what makes the metaverse so unique nowadays.
Okay, I'm a technology guy, so let me rephrase this a little bit, like from a technical perspective. So first, like Masha said, the universe, the metaverse from the end user perspective, it's actually it's basically an upgrade of the current websites and the internet. So we use our phones, we use our PC. Now we probably see with naked eyes is 3D, always a VR device, and we see a much better representation of the contents. But technically, those contents still save in the traditional database if it's just a game. Right. It's for example, if Facebook truly move into metaverse, it's still Facebook. If the user data is still Facebook user data, and all the content you see is still stored in the same way as Facebook does today. But just when they show up, it's just in another format. So for the end user, actually, that's metaverse. But there's blockchain. Like Marvin said, traditionally, if two games want to talk to each other, they call API, right? And get permission, go a little bit data. But now, actually, blockchain, no matter it's permission or public chain, it's a shared system, which means you can actually build some data there and access at the same time by different websites and metaverse front ends. Then you can actually interact from different websites, different IT systems, the users can interact. So immediately becomes something new. So personally, I think it's, the definition, for me, the metaverse should be a new front end, new representation of the websites, new forms in 3D, and plus a super interoperability among all of them. So that's actually, I think it also can be called Web3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think we actually, three of us all have similar ideas. But I think next one is, actually, I always give people example. For example, the virtual cities in the future, how that is built. Actually, I think it will build based on the NFT technologies. Don't think about NFT. It's for example, the whole city is one NFT. Then there's 400 buildings. Each of them is an NFT linked back to the city NFT, and each building has let's say 400 rooms, and each room has 2,000 items. Okay, all those NFT linked together become the whole city, and each one of them has a value, because if you want to buy this room, it has a value there. There's a market, and there will be NFTs for the events. It's not a tangible thing; it's intangible. For example, if you have a meeting, it's 3 people, and every single user has a NFT identity. Could be just a DID, right? Then there's NFTs to link different identity into a meeting. Then they can even leave the meeting minutes into a new NFT, become a new NFT. So that's actually for virtual city. It could be billions of NFTs linked together, and each of them have attributes, has value, even have value, because that means we need to copy everything from real world to the metaverse and build something more, because you can build spaceships in metaverse. It should be even more stuff than our real world. So that's actually, Masha, do you agree? And think about how many jobs you guys need to do to fill that world, empty world today.
Yeah. I agree with you. There must be a lot more than just real life, because there's no boundaries in the metaverse. You can just do everything that you imagine that can be coming out, and there's no physical constraint. There's nothing to stop you from doing whatever you want there. So I think it's very good for all creative people, for example, to go to the space and build something that they cannot. And also the metaverse, it's a DAO community. So everyone can have a chance to do it, because there's no a third person in between. So there's no middleman, and you can do whatever you want through voting. So it's more fair for everyone.
Yes. Marvin, I will ask a specific question. Okay, the city actually, what I described is based on NFT. Then it must based on a chain environment, right? It must be based on chain environment. Nobody builds that kind of thing in their backend system. It definitely is a public system, right? Then I think the interoperability we talked about is this shared database. Actually, there could be 200 different games, metaverse, website actually connecting to the same city, right? Some website, some game owns this room, that website, another metaverse owns the room next door. Then the users from different worlds, different metaverse, different websites, they actually live next door in a virtual world. They can knock on each other's doors and begin interact. Then there's Masha, for example, there will be, a major part is furnitures. People just design digital furnitures. It could be millions, billions type of furnitures. Then people buy from the shelf, put it in their home, and that also an NFT move into that room, linked to that room. So this actually, my question is, Marvin, is, do you think the current public chain technology can provide that kind of TPS, that kind of security, that kind of, to host a whole city?
Yeah, I think it can. And you mentioned something very important, interoperability. I mean, even now we have many different metaverses. We all know the top two, top three, Decentraland, we've got Sandbox, but we've got many others, and we will have more metaverses. And I think the whole ethos of the metaverse, like what Marsha sort of alluded to earlier, is you can transcend geographic boundaries. But if we now have different metaverses that compete, it kind of doesn't do this aspect of this ethos justice. So I think interoperability is very important. And the good thing is with NFTs, you can have NFTs from different metaverses, from different chains, recognized by other metaverses that have NFTs on other chains. So interoperability is sort of almost built in if you want to. You just need to enable certain features that come once a wallet has been scanned and a certain NFT has been identified. You can give certain access permissions to certain metaverses, regardless of what chain it's deployed on. So I think interoperability is something that shouldn't be difficult to achieve. And certainly, I don't think in the long term, we should have these metaverses compete, but rather sort of coexist, like in the contrived scenario that you've given. It's possible for these metaverses to coexist. They don't necessarily need to all merge into one. I don't think that this is the immediate future. But coexisting and giving or rewarding users from one metaverse certain benefits or privileges in other metaverses, this is something that I would class as interoperability. And that's something that I think is certainly should happen and also will happen, in my opinion.
Okay. I think that's actually, I mean, brilliant, talk. It's actually, let me see this. It's like, the city, example I see is too limited. It's like each chain is a country, right?
Yep.
There's so many cities inside this country, and you are a user, you are a citizen in this country, but you can leave your country visiting another country, which is another chain. But you need a verification, you need a passport, you need to go through that, that process. And when you go to another country, there are so many cities on that country. You can buy stuff and move them back to your country and to your building, to your city. That's actually how link everything together. I think we just got the full definition of the universal metaverse.
Yeah, I also think that interoperability is also very important, because right now we have like the Sandbox, and it's like specific for games, and the Decentraland, it's specific for events and art, and CryptoVoxel is something that people go and just to view arts. And the thing is, like, you can all these metaverses, you can buy lands and you can buy things in the land, but you can't transfer what you have in the Decentraland, for example, to CryptoVoxel. It only stays in one metaverse. So that becomes like a really big problem, because what if one metaverse goes into closure? So what you have in the metaverse will not be valuable, and what you have, because of there's no interoperability, like what you have, like the asset, the value of the asset is not stable. So what we actually are trying to achieve is that we actually already have achieved this technology. It's called cross metaverse bridge. So if you buy a clothes from our Digifund website, you can actually transfer it to CryptoVoxel, and from CryptoVoxel to the Decentraland. So we've actually achieved the cross metaverse, like using our own smart contract. But I think every company should have this, because it's really no point to just have one asset in one metaverse, because there's going to be so many multiverse. And they all should like just coexist with each other, because every metaverse is specific one thing. So
exactly. It's fade into the what I said, the universal metaverse. It's Marshall just said, actually for the creators, eventually it's not like they actually set up their own smart contract, as become their own shop. right? And from any chain, from any this kind of city, they can actually go to this shop and buy stuff and move to their chain and move into their city, move into their room. So that's actually, I think now I even from this panel I even have better understanding of Metaverse. I actually in the conference just now, like 1 hour ago, I met with Yet, the Arimoca CEO. I talked with him. That company is worth like 200 million 5 years ago. Now it's $20 billion company because they work on the Metaverse, projects, sandbox, all the games, everything. So that's actually the hardest company in Hong Kong right now. Okay, just 2 years. Think about this: 700 days, grow a company from there and to here.
Yeah, I think blockchain technology and the whole concept of play to earn, I think it's sort of reinvigorated the whole gaming industry again. How many hours did we all spend, if any of us here are gamers, on games to achieve those rewards, those rare items? Now they carry a monetary value. You can exchange them, and there's so much that then has even evolved from just that. We have guilds. We've got people are. This is actually an economy where you can play games and earn whilst you play it. So people actually, you make a living of it. And I think with the metaverse, again, it gives ample opportunity for the gig economy. So you can actually have a job in the metaverse. I mean, no matter what the life lottery has dealt you, no matter where you are geographically seen, you could have a job in the metaverse and actually earn a living. That concept, I think, was inconceivable maybe 3-4 years ago. So these are all the new things that blockchain technology, metaverse, play to earn, NFTs, all of that together has opened up. And I'm incredibly happy that we are in this age where this is happening.
Okay, let me ask one question. I just described a future, scenario. You guys say, okay, I believe it or not, and how in the future, half of the population will just stay home or any comfortable location, where something no longer is computer, okay, because they switch to something like the, handsets, and they actually into the company's virtual world and actual work there for 8 hours. Because you can have a computer in the virtual world and you actually use your finger here, you actually typing, right? Whoever if you need a meeting, it's a virtual meeting. If you need a sales boss, go to his virtual office, face to face. And I don't think it's avatars in that time. It's just look like yourself, okay, in that world. Okay, it's basically you live half of your life in a virtual world. Do you believe that?
I do, and I think especially in the creative industry, like music industry, we can see that people are already performing in the metaverse. I mean, Fortnite, for example, there was one big concert, Travis Scott. He performed. He had many millions of people listening. Fortnite does not have any blockchain technology, but nevertheless, it's a metaverse. So it's already started. And the scenario you've just given, I think that's absolutely something that will likely happen. And that also brings then your digital identity, I think, into the picture. Okay, you mentioned working, but how about receiving financial services or other services in the metaverse? Maybe you want to apply for a bank loan. You may be in a country where the banking facilities are not favorable. So in the metaverse, there are no countries. So you can have, you've got access to financial services that you may not have in your real world country. So that then brings the question or the topic of digital identity. And this is where Oasis has privacy enabling technology, because these things you want to keep private. your financial profile, your credit profile, maybe your health profile, there's so many things that maybe you want to keep private, but still have maybe as an NFT, as an identity NFT. It gets queried by a financial service provider, and you then can give access. So this is technology that's unique to Oasis, that we're giving developers the tools to build this future technology where you could actually get access to services like you can in the real world with blockchain technology and with privacy preserving features. So I'm incredibly excited to see the first use cases of such technology.
Masha?
And I believe in that for sure, because, for example, in the Central Land, there's already a virtual Silicon Valley. So they call it the Crypto Valley. And this is where a place where people go from all around the world, and you can, and they had a job fair last July, and people have all kinds of booths, and people can go in and find a real job in the Central Land, in a metaverse. And also, for example, in March, we had like a virtual metaverse fashion week, and we had all the real brands coming into the Central Land, such as Dolce & Gabbana, Tommy Hilfiger, Hogan, and all these brands coming in. And you can actually buy a digital wearable, and then you can actually also access it through the metaverse to buy something online in the physical world, and you can buy it there, and they can transfer it just to your home. So and also it's just the beginning of the metaverse, and there's already like so much happening. So I can't even imagine what it will be in 10 years, for example. Like, I think what you were saying should be possible.
And do you know what I find, just sorry to interject, do you know what I find so cool about that, job fairs in the metaverse? It kind of eliminates this, like it sets the playing field even. You can literally now we have CVs, or in the US we call them resumes, where you create this resume, someone reads it, and then based on the interview, they either believe you or not. There are things that they can verify, of course, they can call your employer, but with an NFT, your activity can be stored on the blockchain, where you as an employer, you can query that NFT based on certain parameters. I'm contriving this scenario, but these are things that are absolutely possible. And then you can make your hiring decision purely based on facts and meritocracy, on meritocratic facts. You don't have to read between the lines or hire someone based on a bias. You can actually query the blockchain, query an NFT, or whatever it may be, and whatever the outcome is, it's either hire that person or don't. So it gives, again, it opens up the opportunities for potentially disadvantaged people and disadvantaged geographic locations. So this is the angle that I really like about the metaverse and blockchain technology.
I mean, just for this panel, I mean, in 10 years, it's in actual room with actual person and not avatar sitting there, talk face to face.
Yeah.
Right. In 10 years, I believe just in 10 years, it's a high, resolution, you see each other just like face to face. No. Then my next question is, okay, you go to work from home, you have meetings, you talk with people, you join all kind of activities from home. That means probably in 1 year, if you spend half of your time in metaverse, which means in 1 year, you probably the only real people you see is your wife and the kids. So is that pose a problem to the society and the human world? Is that a problem? There are definitely social consequences for that kind of change.
That's a good question, and I thought about it, to be honest. And all I can answer this question perhaps with an example. I mean, when game consoles first came around, parents always used to be worried, right? Why are you playing FIFA or football or soccer, as we call it as you guys call it in the US? But why are you playing that on a virtual console? Why don't you get out and play with your friends? But both those things can coexist. So you can play your console for an hour or two and then still go out and play football in the real world. Both are different experiences, I think. So I think one doesn't exclude the other. And I don't think it will be a situation where you will not leave your house because you're in the metaverse 24/7 and you only get to see 2-3 people in a year. I think people will find the right balance. I mean, things, they find their way through it. I think we don't need to be worried about it. That's just my opinion.
Actually, I worry about, for example, what you just said is playing game and play soccer. Actually, it all happens in the metaverse, which means this kid actually playing soccer with all other kids in metaverse. He's basically running in a special made, a small gaming room. He's actually running, kicking, accessing, and he says just like the real world. And he can still within the metaverse and playing a game within a game, right?
Oh God.
Yeah,
sounds like the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean, you can even make, to be honest, now let's say you travel outside for strangers or you co-workers, how many times you actually physically interact with them? Like touching them. It's right now. Don't touch. It's probably harassment or something. So if you don't need to touch them, what's the difference? If you see just like the real person, what's the difference? Why you even spend energy to go to work? You need to pay transport. I mean, this actually social impact. There's so many. I think we can have the 5 panels. For example, the entire transportation industry is gone because there's only 5% of people still going out and take cars and need a gas or something like that. So
I think
let's move even further. You can actually touch people inside that. You can actually, the technology becomes so advanced, you actually feel this person. Okay, if you shake hands, it's real feel like shaking hands. Don't laugh. I know what you guys think about in your minds. Don't go there. Okay, just see, regular. Then what's the purpose even meeting people in real life? Then let me go extreme. Next step, we all become matrix. Stay in a pot, plug in, and that's our life. Okay.
Whatever makes you happy.
Answer me how we solve that problem.
Marsha, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think that because I don't even know, but I think that people already now they already spend most of their time on a phone, on social media, and people work at home. But people are like a social animal. Even though you can go inside and socialize with a lot of people, but you still need to have a fun time, such as you have to eat and you have to go to a bar. You have to socialize with people in real life, because there's of course things that are not cannot be executed in a metaverse. But I think it will be a bigger, definitely people will spend more time in at their home, but I don't think they will never go out and not meet people in the real world.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a natural evolution to everything. I mean, let's say 20 years ago, people used to go out to get their not social credit, but social evaluation. You go out, oh, you look good. I love your hair. You're wearing something nice. Nowadays, you post a picture on Instagram, you get 300 likes. That gives you that dopamine release of I'm getting validated. But does it mean that you don't wear the dress or the cool outfit and go out every weekend? It doesn't. I think one doesn't exclude the other. I think there's just different ways how we get our social stimulus And as Marsha said, certain things cannot be replaced. You still need to eat, right? You still need to do certain things that require you physically to be present somewhere. And
I think it will become less and less.
it will become less and less, but other things may come up as a result.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? With change, it just challenges certain industries. You just mentioned the transport industry. I mean, here since COVID, you know, we all know airlines have been suffering and stuff like that, but it just challenges those legacy industries to be creative and come up with something new. So I don't know the answer, but I don't see it as a dystopian matrix sort of future. I see it with a more an optimistic outlook that one thing will prompt new things to evolve. And us humans, I mean, throughout time, I think we've always scaremongered a little bit when new technology came out. But then in the end, things turned out to be fine. So this is my take on this. I have a very optimistic outlook.
Well said. But I'm still scared.
Yeah, you.
For 1 year.
Don't worry.
The human beings I see is my wife and the kid. That's it.
I'll come and visit you.
Yeah,
I'll come and visit.
Thank you. I will pay for that.
Yeah, I'll send you my wallet.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You say it actually changed a lot of things, like governments. You know how we govern this country. It changes. You know, it's the social life will change. Entertainment will change. How the working environment will change. It's amazing. Just think about that. It's amazing and same time scary. So it's okay. Next, I think let's talk about the crypto a little bit. Okay, I'm kind of non-crypto people. Okay, if I tell you guys, you know, I'm heavily involved in all the blockchain industry, and I don't even have a wallet. So when you send me a wallet, it's useless because I don't even know how to use it. Okay, I probably just print them out and put on my fax machine and say, okay, where this goes. No, Marvin, say why have I talked with this guy?
No, it's okay.
Yeah, because what we do is pure technology. Okay, I give you one of my opinions, and Marvin, give me see it's actually I'm talking with all kind people from crypto world and the public chains. You know, we know almost all of them. One thing I'm trying to do is move crypto from layer 1 to layer 2. Okay, because right now you basically put it into a crypto into an infrastructure, then which means whoever use the infrastructure, they must use the crypto. So that actually makes the infrastructure extremely expensive. Okay, no matter what, it's definitely more expensive to pure cloud cost. Right, cloud resources cost. It's definitely, otherwise it doesn't even make sense anymore. So the way I have been promoting, it's called a non-crypto public chain. I still believe in public chain, but I think let's move that crypto into layer 2. You still can do ICOs. You still can build into other applications to play to earn. Breathe to earn, as long as you are alive, you make your earn. It's just all kind of applications. But by moving the crypto to layer 2, actually opens the entire public chain ecosystem to traditional IT systems. They just pay a minimum fixed, we can call that public chain fees, gas, right? The gas become fixed in linked to fiat money. Then the bank can run very large decentralized financial services on those public chains, but the cost is controllable. Because right now the one major problem is there's not much traditional IT system are using public chains to run their traditional business, which which actually accounts for 99.9999% of the IT systems in the world. So as a public chain layer 1 protocol, what's your view on that?
Yeah, I mean, traditional financial service providers,
or even governments,
governments, traditional, like those monolithic institutions, they are usually always skeptic when new technology comes. They need to be, because there's a lot at stake. I mean, for my parents, for example, they have pensions, pension funds, they invest in the stock market, and then there's a lot of there's a huge chain reaction when financial institutions or governments do misstep or something. They do something without much research, and then something bad happens. We've seen the financial crisis in 2007, 2008. It had massive ramifications. We've then got regulation. And when new technology emerges, things are being seen with a lot of skepticism. And you just mentioned gas fees or transaction costs. On Ethereum, everyone knows they are notoriously high, and it's unsustainable for microtransactions, especially if you talk about Metaverse in that context. You have microtransactions.
It's like billions of NFTs on billions of NFTs, and if that cost to just for gas, it could be 100 billion.
Exactly. So you, for example, if you buy a piece of furniture, let's say a vase in the Metaverse, that should cost, I don't know, $12 worth of Ethereum. It doesn't make sense to spend $30 in gas fees to buy something worth less than the gas fees.
Exactly.
This is why we've got layer 2s, we've got Ethereum 2.0 rolling out, but from the perspective of Oasis, we have a unique architecture that allows scalability, and we have an EVM compatible paradigm. It's very low gas fees. You can mint NFTs at the fraction of the cost that you have on Ethereum, for example, or other chains, even layer 2s. So our chain can definitely make this whole feasible. But whether financial institutions will switch their entire payment system model over to blockchain, whether it's low gas fees or not, that's something that they will probably do this in a slow and steady. It won't happen abruptly or overnight. They will watch the space. It's gradually happening as well. I mean, even VC money has multiplied how much VC money is in crypto projects. If we look at 5 years ago, traditional institutional money wasn't in crypto. It's getting more and more. And to make crypto transactions the norm means of payment, where we get rid of the legacy financial systems, that will take a while. And just to finish off my point, even traditional banking, if we look at how we've always had banks, for hundreds of years, and even that has evolved. And only recently can we make cheap transactions. In the UK, we have something called faster payments. That's only been around for maybe 10 years or so, which means you make a payment with your app or from one bank to another UK bank, and it's there instantly. 20 years ago, we didn't have that. It did cost money. You maybe had to go to the bank. So even the traditional financial system took a long time to evolve. So for them to now jump straight into crypto and replace their existing system, that's unrealistic. It takes time. It needs to happen gradually. And the cryptocurrency space, the crypto space also needs time to mature and evolve so that those can be ready to match and then create this perfect system where you can have peer-to-peer transactions that cost nothing and are instant. So it's still an evolving space from the traditional financial perspective and also from a blockchain crypto perspective.
Okay. Marsha, you are the designers. You guys build the items, materials, arts, everything for the virtual world. Then you sell your product. Like I said, it could be from all the countries they come to buy this, and as long as it's public chain, you sell it and you need to pay a tax as gas fee to the chain. Sometimes it's really, really high. So from your perspective, Do you want that gas fee as low as possible, or you want them high as possible?
For me, I think we want the gas fee as low as possible, because sometimes we have a close and it costs maybe like $5, but the gas fee would be $30, for example. And then we're losing a lot of customers just because they think the gas fee is too expensive. So if the gas fee would be lower, then I think it's better for the market as well, because only if you're buying, for example, a product from Gucci and you have to pay like $100 for gas fee, then okay, it's like balanced. But if you're just buying a $5 stuff, you have to pay 30, and then it's just people are just losing their interests. And also right now we have to alter our prices all the time, because, for example, last week Luna decreased and Bitcoin decreased, and then like the price is just always different. So we have to change our prices all the time. So I think for gas fee and for cryptocurrency, we're still waiting for it to be mature, to be more mature. So like it will be easier for like a lot of people. And now because of all the alternation in the market, a lot of people don't even have the courage to buy a cryptocurrency, for example, because it's still so not stable at the moment. So definitely it affects like the way we sell. And yeah.
To me, it's like you open a shop in real world, right? The range is jumping up and down, up and down. You have no idea what next month's rent is, and you say, okay, probably next month I totally
terrifying for us.
Yes. That's what I actually mean to move the crypto into the second. Then the gas fee is fixed. As long as it's fixed, then people can make business decision based on that. Then it could be still high. It could be still $2 for one single transaction, but it make people comfortable to build their business model around that. So that's actually something I truly think should be there on public chain ecosystem one day. But it's kind of against the philosophy. But I think think about the Masa's business. They are not in the pure crypto world. Just doing exchange trading crypto. They actually is real business, and they are renting the space on a public chain and worry about next month I go bankrupt. So that's actually, Marvin, do you think it's a concern when there's more and more true business on those public chain ecosystems?
Well, I think I see everything with an optimistic outlook. I think you've already noticed.
Yes, I can say that. Not like me, worry about the matrix.
I think, the whole volatility aspect, I mean, Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency, is less than 15 years old. I mean, look how much we went through with traditional financial systems we had, and even the stock market. I mean, like these things are hundreds of years old, but they're still volatile. So with something as nascent as cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, there is volatility. The market is still trying to find itself. And I mean, us Oasis, we are a young layer one network. Ethereum is young, as everything is young. So of course there are, during the course of the roadmap and the technology evolving, I mean, Ethereum is releasing Ethereum 2.0. There is going to be volatility because there's speculation. There's whales that buy the token and then sell it. There's computers with algorithms that if there's a large sell-off or news happening, it moves the price. But I think in the long term, just like with those established tech companies in 2000, had you bought an Amazon stock, it went through peaks and troughs. But the underlying technology and the vision, no one could deny it. I mean, look at Amazon now. Look at those top tech companies now. You need to always look at the underlying technology of the chain, of the cryptocurrency that you're vested in, to And if it makes sense, and if it's not just a meme coin with a dog on it, for example, then I think you shouldn't be too worried. I'm talking now from an investment perspective, and this is obviously not investment advice, do your own research, etc. But I think the volatility is currently part of partaking in any cryptocurrency transaction, and I don't think you should be too worried about it. Buying merchandise, digital NFT merchandise, it's something that you do to partake in this new ecosystem, and there can be volatility, and I don't think it should be too much of a concern. The gas fees, I think there are already solutions about the gas fees. For example, we have an EVM compatible paradigm called Emerald. We've got very negligible fees. You can mint NFTs and mint your own tokens at practically almost zero gas fees. So the gas fees is not so much an issue right now, but the volatility, I guess, currently is, especially with what happened with Luna in the last 3-4 weeks in the overall market. But in the long term, there are solid projects like Oasis that are doing fundamentally important things to the overall blockchain, the development of the overall blockchain technology. And these are just short-term effects of just new things being explored and happening.
Very good, very good, very good. Okay, I think it's the time is almost there. Let's just do a closing. Each of us. Masha, what's your expectation in 10 years for the metaverse?
Well, for me, my expectation is that in 10 years, people are like more and more people are all there, and then we can like do a lot of activities, and it's more immersive, have more immersive experiences, and you can do business wherever you are in the world. There's no restraints, there's nothing, so people can communicate so much easily. And also, for example, like anywhere that you want to visit, there's also, you can visit it in virtual world. And of course, I hope everyone will wear beautiful clothes made from us.
Marvin, what's your expectation in 10 years?
Yeah, so very optimistic again. I think blockchain technology, especially in combination with the metaverse or metaverses, just evens up the playing field. Everyone can participate. It makes it accessible for everyone, and you're not restricted to those traditional restrictions like geographic location, economic restrictions in your country, political restrictions. You can decide what you want to do. There's a new economy. You can make a living of partaking in the metaverse, and digital ownership is a real thing. It's here to stay, and with good underlying technology like at Oasis, where you can even have your digital identity with privacy preserving features, you can really have a metaverse that almost emulates the real world, where you can have access to services like financial services, healthcare services, and regardless of where you are in the world and what the lottery of life has dealt you with, in the metaverse, you have an even playing field. So this is my sort of outlook for the future.
Well said, well said. Basically, what I understand metaverse is also a mean to communicate, right? I mean, just 30 years ago, we still sending the physical letter to communicate each other. Then we have calls, we have conference calls. We can see 2D of you guys. One day I can say 3D and the real you just in front of me. But that's actually the evolution of communication. Just to meeting each other, because our human being is live together. Okay, not we just live alone, that kind of animal. So the technology always pull us, closer and closer. Just like Marshall said, if you want to meet anyone in the world, you can, like call today, do some calling, then immediately this person actually in front of you. You can even shake hands, you know. So that's, but let's say never put me into a pot, okay, and plug me and become matrix. That's always, you know, there's still real person around you. There's a lot. I totally agree with Marvin. There will be new things we can do offline, right? It's in real life, much enjoyable. We can even communicate much better, you know, do a whole lot of things. Think about that, okay? Don't turn our mankind into matrix. Okay, I love that movie. Okay, I love. Thank you, Marsha, and great conversation. Okay, great conversation. I'm glad, you know, we did this freestyle. Okay, this is good.
Yeah, I like the freestyle. Went smoothly.
Thank you, Marsha. Yeah, thank you, Marvin.
So much.
Okay,
thank you.
Yeah, let's find another time to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye. Bye.